For Solange, in the mid of the night, I grope for her line, feel for her form. She rolls on my mind. Day in or moonlight, penned in her room, caught in a corner, cutting stanza. She tugs all the time. The best of Sundays was when the sea dozed in full sunlight along the causeway. He would see it even before he drove up the highway. A ruffled sheet of blue-green spread from the village all up to the islet. She looked forward to those Sundays, the drive through the village, then the sunlight on the sea. They'd sit in the car near the hotel barrier and watch the sea and the green mountains that rose in the near distance. The sun burned through the windscreen. She watched the sunlight dazzling the water's surface among the lazing yachts. All around were regulars like them, other couples sunken into beach chairs, awaiting the sunset. Behind them was the tent beneath which a crowd seemed to lunge towards the scent of frying fish cakes. He'd walk the beach, calmly and boldly, in front of the hotel. Some of the tourists who lay beneath the colored tents would eye his form quickly, while above their heads the guards locked his eyes. The sun would begin to edge down slowly, like a big orange into the wide arms of the horizon. He'd return to the car, sit again to catch the final flash, but would have to give up the image to that of the emerging moon. The sea, spreading like sheets, shredding over rocks. You can see this image best at night if you are on the causeway facing the Atlantic. You'd see it just over the dike of rocks. By this time, the surfers would all be gone and the waves would come white, like rolling light in the dark, and their crash would spray over the dike and you'd feel the wet on your face, slipping the salt down till you catch the taste between your lips. You'd point it out to her, hoping for some affirmation that the beauty was really there, not merely in your over-romantic rock of a head that was always seeking the romance of the island. Then you'd step out of the car and climb onto the dike in the dark, daring the sea. She'd think you mad, further convinced of it when you stooped, cupped your hands to catch the water climbing up the boulders, like a cat coming home to your hands from wandering in the night. All that time, all you really wanted was to splash the cool water on your face and to taste that salty water air. That was all real. Anything else was secondary. Take me down to Casablanca. I'd catch a quick convo with Marjorie before going for a walk along the copper green seaweed spread along the sand. It is some years now that Marjorie sits quietly in the corner of a small restaurant. Her sight is almost gone, but behind her dark glasses, her memory is still sharp. She can tell you stories of the days she'd walk from Babonneau and watch her feet stumble over wobbly stones while she balanced the tray on her head. Then she'd set the tray on the beach and wait to entertain the peculiar tourists who came just for the wind, for the turbulent waters, perpetually rolling sea. Talk to Marjorie and she'd tell you how, when she constructed a restaurant, there was hardly a soul around, except perhaps the ghosts of the Amerindians you'd still hear in the shrill of the wind. If you take me down to Casablanca, I will visit the Amerindians at the far end of the cliffs, past the compass under the trees. I will look over the white breakers that crash over the black reefs till they swoosh my feet. My heart will ease to the breath of the openness. This will be enough. I will breathe and then we can go home. Take me down to Casablanca. You understand, don't you? You understand why he walks the beach? There's a green mound of hope coming closer with each stride. Do you remember that night he took you for a long walk along Radwy? The mountain was dark then with secrets, and below it, the Rastas sat still with red points of light among the rocks near Chez Marie. Do you remember that starfish startling us on the shore in light from the hotel? The beach was more even than Fiji, for the tourist of course, but he needed that walk to hear the swishing of the waves. He needed too the feel of his feet cushioned in golden sand, soothing him to go on. Radwy calls now. Radwy calls now in the ocean air of COVID paranoia, and his heart longs for a starfish cast in amber on a golden shore. We'd rather smell the fresh of the sea, feel the water lightly rolling and lapping our form like a puppy. Rather smell the fish flying up clean like a breakthrough, like a heart sudden wish for one moment of heaven that we'd feel standing at Marjorie's, that we'd feel standing with Marjorie, inhaling the weed, reading the sea. Craftsmen decorate Marjorie's diner under the rocky cover of Cap. The sculptor scoops a wrestling spirit bobbling on the ocean. He had leapt the white surf circling his ankles to catch that driftwood. Now his task to gently tool spirit to mask. Big eyes, dark line, stared. Big nose, brazen, flared. Thick lips, tall teeth, bared. The mask is nailed. The spirit calls through the wind.